I'm Tao. It's my second video about cooking meal. On the last video, we talked about Valencia meal. So now, let's talk about Kamasylvia meal. And of course, with the same review method like materials, execution, simulation, and of course profit. So I can make an apple-to-apple comparison. And of course, food comparison between those meal and other meal in other video in future. So let's begin. Kamasylvia meal is a meal that comes from Kamasylvia region. Yeah, that's all. And this is the list of material needed. And again, I'm not including the NPC items, but I still include fruit, because fruit can be sold on central market. But put that aside, let's talk about material that obtained from node worker, like egg, coconut, fig, and starch. Egg obtained from barley farm, vinto farm, and narchion nodes, and coconut from 2 nodes on Areha palm forest and 2 nodes from Grana investment bank node. But I don't know why, but I cannot see the Grana sub node. Maybe I'm not unlocked it yet or else, and maybe you know, leave on the comment below. And then fig on Akman node and 2 nodes on Sakatu farmland. Starch like usual are from node near any big city. And I make some list, actually only one. I make a list for the node worker route that I recommend. Egg on Bartley farm took 3 contribution point, but Vinto farm also took 3 contribution point for each node. Invest one of them or both of them. Coconut on Areha palm forest that took for 4 contribution point, but took 7 if you want to invest both. But yeah, it will be different story if you're able to invest on Grana investment bank node. And then fig on Sakatu farmland took for 3 contribution point, or took 4 in total if you want to invest both. And starch took for around 3 contribution point for each node. So the total contribution point are needed for around 13 contribution point, or more if you want to invest more than 1 node for each material. Next up are material that obtained from farming, are onion and garlic. These 2 plants are tough, just plant it anywhere, but other than this orange, because onion took for around 5 hours and 20 minutes, while other only took for around less than 5 hours. Who's gonna plant this anyway? And then the main bottleneck for the Ramas meal. Rainbow button mushroom can be gathered on polyforest. By gathering this kind of mushroom, and also can be gathered from a dead mobs in this area, but with slight change and result of course. I don't know that much about this rainbow button mushroom gathering rotation, but as far as I know, some of it are inside the mob crowd, some of it that you can find nearby the main road, and a lot of it near a Winnie cabin node, and some of it are scam. Since the main source was from the gathering point, so the main problem are the respawn time. So you gotta need to jump to other server every time you complete the rotation, so you don't need to wait to it respawn. But like I said, I don't know that much about gathering rotation, so feel free to find another guide about it. But if you ask me, my average results are for around 450 pieces, which took for around 8 minutes with only 600 mastery but with hedgehog, which is very annoying for me. And then milk can be gathered by milking cow, and one of it was on farm near this Rosaria NPC. Because the meat needed is not specific, so just gather sheep or wolf or else. And my favorite are on the north of Alejandro farm. Fruit can be obtained from node worker, but don't waste your contribution point, just buy it on NPC. If you want to start to enter the world of cooking with Kamas meal, I recommend you to spam essence of liquor first. Not only because that you gotta need a lot of this essence of liquor, but also to consider the higher grade version for other dishes, because all this and the higher grade dish require specific cooking level, like exotic herbal wine required beginner 1 and skilled 1 for the higher grade dish, fruit wine required apprentice 1 and skilled 9 for the higher grade dish, white sauce are cookable and beginner 1 and have no higher grade dish, coconut pasta required professional 1 and Master 1 for the higher grade dish, and you're able to cook soft bread at beginner 6 and skilled 5 for the higher grade dish. Rainbow button mushroom sandwich require professional 1 and artisan 1 for the higher grade dish. Fig pie cookable at apprentice 1 and professional 1 for the higher grade dish. And finally, rainbow button mushroom cheese melt are similar to rainbow button mushroom sandwich, require professional 1 and artisan 1 for the higher grade dish. At simulation, I split the cook simulation result into 3 cases. Worst case is a case when my RNG SAS is totally not on my side, with result 1000 dish and 0 higher grade dish. And my case is my average result from the lowest cook level attempt to my best cook level attempt, with the result 2400 pieces dish and 240 pieces for the higher grade dish for each 1000 recipe. And finally, my best case is my average result when I'm on my prime state, but my prime state only have 1550 mastery, with the average result are 3000 dishes and 450 pieces for the higher grade dish for every 1000 recipe. You're going to see many table next, so feel free to pause and pay attention please. As usual, we have to figure out the material, and this is needed for 1000 recipe of Kamas meal. For that, we need to cook the dishes a certain recipe. And finally, we know material for the entire dish for 1000 recipe of Kamas meal, and like I mentioned before, I'm gonna do the exact material amount, but well, all 3 cases. Now we know 1000 recipe of Kamas meal for every cases, and I believe you realize that my case and my best case have some remainings for the certain dishes. So I'm gonna cook the remaining dishes to Kamas meal until there is no dishes left for the Kamas meal recipe, which I call it a final case. Now about profit, which I split into several scenario. As you see, selling raw material are worth for around 197 million. And of course, selling premiums on central market give you more silver than sell the raw materials, except the worst case of course. On turn premium to box, worst case slightly lower, but my case and my best case slightly higher than sell premium to central market. And then moving on to meals, worst case are far left behind by other cases, but yeah, meals are totally not friendly to the worst case. On previous scenario was about selling meal and remaining to central market, and now turn meal and remaining to box, which is slightly better than the previous scenario, and this is the profit result. After I created data by data that I just mentioned, I have several conclusions. The main problem about materials are on the rainbow button mushroom. The mushrooms are too hot to gather for me. I got some distractions from mob finding the gathering point, and then since it was from the gathering point, I gotta need to move to other server, so I don't need to wait it to respawn. But maybe you can say, but that because you don't know the rotations, and about the mob, you can just ignore it, so it's not that big of a problem. Yeah, you got a point. So when you know the rotation, the gathering process are much faster, right? But let's think about it. For the first rotation, it took for around 8 minutes, and then I moved to the server to start my second rotation. And long short story, I finished my second rotation, and let's say it took for around 7 minutes, and then I need to move to other server again to start my third rotation. But sadly, I cannot move to other server yet because the cooldown for 10 minutes. After my second rotation, I need to wait for 3 minutes so I am able to move to other server. This makes me even more reluctant to gather it. And then on execution, Kamas meal need 4 cooked dish variant to make the pre-meals. which is very good for starting to early game and quite good for late to end game of cooking. And about profit, the pre-meal prices are better than the Kamas meal, which is not that good for a meal profit. So, the Kamas meals really that bad? Of course not. If you are patient enough to gather the rainbow button mushroom, or maybe you know better way to gather it. And then second, you are well prepared, like at least full 3 manos cooking gears, which is like my best case. If so, you can obtain this result and higher grade this result for exactly or maybe even more than my best case. Therefore, your meal result give more silver than the pre-meal's result. Alright, I guess that's all for this video. After several minutes accompany you to watch this video, we can see the comparison between the Valencia meal and the Kamas meal. And of course, the other meals still on waiting list. I almost forgot. I want to put some disclaimer. Since it was data from me, I believe I can be wrong, so feel free to leave on comment below. And about conclusion, of course it was my personal opinion, so you can make your own. And again, feel free to leave it on the comment below. If you find this video was useful, click like, share and subs. But if you're not, just click like, share and subs, okay? And see you later.